Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the BingoToys BT-04 Spider Lady. This is their take on a Blackarachnid. And I gotta say, she looks pretty cool, pretty interesting, does a whole lot more than I anticipated. So a lot of stuff that they have put into this. Now I did get this at Shows. I'm gonna have a link down below where you can get yours. And let's take a look at this BingoToys offering Blackarachnid. Do some comparisons. Coming up. Here's packaging, and pretty simplistic. It just got some art on the front there, and then says what it is on the side, and then some interesting looking art of the alt mode on the back. Now I do like the look of the figure, but we're going to get into the accessories first. I want to start with the stand that it's included, and this was something that I thought was kind of interesting, the way they did the stand. Now it does have basically two segments here that you can piece together to make one long segment, which I think is more interesting. And with that, it plugs into a couple of places. You can plug it into her rear, you can plug it into, there's a hole in her back, if I can get that on there right here. You can plug it into her back, you can plug it into her rear, and then you can also plug it into this piece here, which also plugs in to her rear also. There's so many options here, and I figured out a way, like a hack, to make this into a shield, so we'll look at that here in just a bit. But this is a good stand for flight poses, or maybe she's going to be doing some sort of kick or something. But also, if you unplug it from there, and you see it comes apart, and plug this into her back, then it's just going to help her stand a little bit better. Takes a little bit of working around, and I just don't want to waste time on the camera doing that, but it just can make her look standing a little bit better. Now, the thing with RC and Blackarachnid and all these female characters, and then they have these high heels, it makes it hard for them to stand. Now, she can stand on her own, and it's not really that big of a deal or that bad, but this just adds a little bit of extra stability to her if you want that. And we will be doing comparisons with her without her stand and probably with her stand, but pretty interesting that there's so much you can do with this stand. But it takes a little bit of setting up and getting it to the way you want it. Now, with that, there's multiple different hand options, so however you want to set things up. But I've got this piece here. Now, this is almost like a shield, but it's not really a shield. And I was able to take a piece of the stand, which is one of the part that's plugged into the bottom here, and it plugs into that. I plugged it into this, and I made a shield out of it. It's something you can do if it's a thing you want to do. I don't actually remember how I did it the first time, but now I just kind of looped her arm through this, and I was messing around with it. I was just looking at different options, but I thought this looked like a shield. It's not officially something that's supposed to be a shield, but I thought it would be something that they could do. Anyway, pulling this off here, she doesn't hold it. Her wrists are a little bit weak. We'll get into that when we get into that, but they hold fine for just the small weapons and stuff. Now, this does plug into the back of her, and the whole thing about this piece that I put on here is that it also plugs into the stand, and everything is really tight, especially the first time you stick it in. It is really tight. So this plugs into the back like so that you can have like a tail looking thing going on. And it also has a gun that is included with it that tabs into there, which is part of the tail on the transformation. And then this will get where we can see, can she stand on her own with the tail and all of that? And she can stand on her own. She does not need the stand. So we can get that out of the way. We can take a look at a few other things. So let's get into these accessories. She does have two of these exact same swords, so she can double wield them if you want to put the correct hands on there. And I think this is, you got to find the holding hand for each side. So you need this holding hand on the other side to hold this. And fists. And then she has these ones here, which I'm not 100% sure. It looks like she's supposed to be holding something really big. She's going to two-hand something really big. Oh, she's making a heart. Oh, that's what that is. She's making a heart. Okay, maybe that's what that's all about. Then she's got all these faces. She's got the O face, and she's got a bunch of just smiling happy. Some seem a little sinister. And the thing is that you put it on a little different. You have different options here, and you have options with these faces and we'll look at that. Now, getting up here with the figure, another thing about her is that she comes with these back pieces, but they're not installed. So you got to kind of put them on and then make them fold around to fit in to, because I think this part here is folded the other direction. So to make them look like this, you want to do that. And you can do a whole lot of different things with them, however you want to do. You can fold them all around, fold them up on her backs where they kind of fit flat, or you can leave them like this, or you can, of course, have them looking like the guns that she does. But I just kind of leave them like this for now because I don't really like doing a whole lot of crazy stuff with those legs in the back there. So some assembly required. She also is shipped with no face at all. So this is all the faces except in gold, and you also get another crown set. And so here's how all that works. So getting, get all that in the way there, you pull this little crown piece out, and then you could go up under here and pull her face off, and face off. And that's how she looks. Then you can put, let's just go give her the O face. She might be in the O face for the rest of the day. Screaming? I don't know. Maybe you want to give her a sinister smile. Yeah, I think she'd look better with a sinister smile. You can also do the sinister smile with a golden face. I'm not big on swapping faces a lot, so generally once I get it done, then I'm done. You can put this one on. Now the difference between this one is now she's got like glasses on versus the other one, which is just a crown and you see her face. So whichever one you like more, they both work just fine, but quite interesting options that they have right there. Now another option, since we're right here with the face, you have these horn things. So you can put them, they're articulated on a ball joint, so you can put them up like that, and you can have horns coming out like that, or they could cover up her face like so. But I'm going to leave them up because we're going to need to put them up for transformation anyway, and I think it looks cool as adding to her crown. And I popped one out, and it easily popped right back in. Ball joints. As I've said before, I'm not really too into swapping out hands and faces. I think this is the best way to go. Could you imagine tiny little fingers that are articulated like this so the hands are fine to swap out? And generally I go with one, and I don't swap them out very much. But here's like this splayed hand, and I think it looks great. It's one of my favorite kind of hands to have on a female character. But here is the fist. It's that easy to pop in and out. Now I will say they'll hold in fine for whatever you need them to do, but they don't hold in great when you're having them hold something. I was trying to get it to hold the shield, and that's why I just kind of tucked the shield around her arm. So there's that, but let's get her into the heart shape hands. And isn't that special? Now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and look at the figure. I do like the color scheme. The black on gold on purple with red accents looks really nice. And I don't particularly like the gold face on her. I do like kind of a standard flesh tone face. I think that works best for this character. She does look really good. And yeah, nice. She's got some shoulder pads here, which actually I thought she had swappable shoulder pads, but turns out she did not. And she's got some nice bosom going on right there, which, by the way, what's underneath there? Okay, there's nothing underneath there. Just checked. Part of the transformation. And then she's got some nice detail in the abdomen area, the abs, and then down here some paint and accents. So really cool. And purple paint all down, just painted everywhere, looking really good. I will say something. They advertise her with diecast. I can only feel diecast in the feet. I know that's a Masterpiece thing these days, that a lot of companies only put diecast in the feet. There might be diecast in these legs somewhere a bit. I just can't feel or sense any more diecast anywhere else. But having them in the feet, she has some stability. That looks pretty good. Then here on this back tailpiece, kind of, you don't have to have it on. And when I display mine, I will not display it with that tailpiece. But I still think it's an interesting thing that they included, especially with all the stuff that you could do with it. And we will see that here in a bit. And of course, it makes the transformation relatively simple. It actually really simplifies the transformation. But we'll get into all that here in a bit. Anyhow, really nice looking figure. Let's go ahead and get into articulation. All right, I think I should remove the tail. or whatever you want to call that. Her head on is it on a ball joint? Yeah, it's on a ball joint. So you can go up to about there, down to here, and especially when she's going to be doing like some flight poses or kicking, or she's flying or something, that would be really good. Shoulder, get the shoulder pad out of the way here. Shoulder goes all the way up to here, and of course you got a 360 if you want to go all the way around. You do have the bicep swivel and double jointed on the elbow there. And then another thing, which this is more of a feature, but you can open this up and then tuck the hand in, and then you can get this out. So that's something else too. So that's articulation, I guess. All right, so she does have waist articulation and articulation right here below the chest, breast area. So lots that you can do to get kind of like something like this in the air going on. That is quite a bit. And it's tight too. It's not loose. It's not really floppy, so it holds. This thing is meant to hold in like a flying crazy pose. And then you can pull it up a bit too to get even more extreme if you wanted to, which is it's really interesting that they've gone this route. I mean, could you imagine a seeker with this much articulation in this area? Not at all. Now, the hips, there's a flap. They go out to here, and then they do drop down, but they go forward. This is the weird part about this. The further forward you go with this, though, when you try to get like a knee in the air, it doesn't go straight forward. It kind of goes out to the side a bit, which is strange. And then if you drop it down, you could get more by moving it around. You start having to manipulate this joint in here, which is it's fine. But when you get it back to normal, you need to slide the joint, and I get it to where this is on the inside. So rotate that around to where the part that obviously goes up and down, in and out, is realigned. So I kind of had trouble with that at first, getting it realigned. But anyhow, you have a ton of options with that drop down. And it feels tight no matter what you do, all the messing with it I've done. Getting down, so you have the thigh swivel and all of that. And then I think it's a double jointed knee. Yeah, there it is. And it's so tight. And look, it goes all the way. All the way. Double jointed knee. So really cool. And then the knee pad comes up. That's cool too. So lots of articulation with that. And then getting down here to the foot, it's just standard foot articulation. And I try not to articulate the foot too much because I don't want to wear that out, because she can, as you can see, she can still stand on her own on high heels really well. Like really well. Well, okay. Hit the table. It was a bump test, but I mean, she doesn't have to have the stand, but she does have a stand. All right, so here she is in comparison to Blackarachnid. In comparison, this is Takara. This is Toy World's Leia, their version of RC. I feel like she's living in the scale of Toy World's RC, and I'm okay with that. Like, I like my bots a little bit bigger, and she's tall. And so will she scale with your Beast Wars stuff? I think she'll be fine. I think she'll be okay. But there she is next to the Takara Blackarachnid. And I'm sure Takara's Blackarachnid scales correctly with the rest of their line. But I do like this and all the options you get with it. And of course, this is something different. It's an offshoot. It's not meant to be exactly the same. And it definitely does not fall into exactly the same. Here she is next to Dinobot and Optimus Primal, and fine with me. That's I think it fits just fine if you've got them in here. She looks really good next to the Dinobot there. That works. That fits. Pretty good looking. As I get more of the Transart stuff, it kind of feels like this is going to really look good with Transarts, the Transmetals. So that's my thought on that. Just the obligatory MP... Magic Square, not MP-44. Comparison shot, obligatory just because, you know, scale. Before we get into the transformation, I really didn't show off this gun of hers, and that's what it looks like. It's a gun / tail stinger, or whatever you want to call it, and it fits just fine in her hand. And yeah, that's something else that she's got going on. But of course, I'm going to set this up and get it ready for transformation. And a part of that is you can't do a splayed hand in there. You need a fist or something, or it will not fit into her arm. I don't think splayed hands will fit in there. And you can do what they did. They shipped it without hands on it. You can always transform it and just take the hands off if that's a thing that you want to do. Now it's time to get her into her alt mode, and we're going to see there's options for this. And as you can see, I'll show, you can put it on here, and there's another option. I'll show that, all that when we get to that point. And let's go ahead and put this back on here. Get it in there really good. Get it in good. Now we're going to start with this hand, and we're going to open it up and open this up. So you actually don't pull on the hand to open it. You kind of pull the hand a little bit to spread it, and then you can pull this out. Now you need a fist or a holding hand is all that's really going to go in there, I think. I don't think you're going to get much more in there with any of the other ones. The splades won't go in there, and that fist actually isn't wanting to go in there all the way. There we go. And we've got this. This is going to be the front legs. Then we're going to take her chest that we looked at earlier, and it's just going to fold around and go overhead. Now I have, you don't have to, but I keep these up because it looks a lot cooler. Then you can open the mouth right here for the bug mode. And then you have these mandibles right there, or whatever you want to call these things. And there we are coming along really good. Then you can put the arms in the air, raise them like you just don't care, if that's a thing that you want to do. Then we're going to flip the script around like so. And then there we go. Then we're going to get into this lower area here. Now I left the gun plugged in. I might need to unplug that gun. So untab this. There's a tab here and a slot there. And then what we're going to do is basically just slide this piece here around. Are we capturing all that? Is it looking too dark? It's look a little dark. This here is going to fill this gap. Then you're going to tab it in to fill this gap here. There's notches here and tabs here. So let's get that in place. And then let's not tab it in as well as I thought it would. Just takes a little bit of fiddling with to get it tabbed in. And it's not a really tight, secure tab, so it could easily pop back out. So one of those things when we're done, we'll just go push it back in. It's not a big deal. Now we got to work on the legs, and I feel like I'm going to go off camera with this. Actually, let's take it down just a little bit. We're going to fold the feet up. And then we're going to spread this. Okay, this needs to kind of spread out. We need to use the double knee joint and get this foot over, and the foot is going to nestle into that. So it's going to be just some manipulating to get it to work. However, you need to get that in there to get it over it, and messing with it like so. And then just trying to align everything. It's an interesting idea on how they've accomplished this, but getting it all to sit the way they intend it is a little bit more of a challenge. And then you'll tab this side piece in once it's all in there. And I am definitely going to have to go off screen to clean this up, because it's an interesting concept, and it's not really hard. It's just the way I'm trying to do it. I popped off the ball joint. So the way I'm trying to do it from the angle is just something I'm probably going to have to, I can't do it in front of the camera to get it just right, but got the gist of it right there. Anyway, popped off. Ball joints are good because it means you're not breaking it, but it's also one of those things that if you're not aligned exactly right, it's not going to work. Okay, let's go ahead and try to get the other one, which you're kind of pulling this back up to get the other foot and the other leg in there. Tuck it in. And then it's got to go past everything. Now it's got to go past everything with resistance on the other side at the same exact time. So there's that. And then tighten it all up. And I'm going to go off screen just a little bit to tighten this up. All right, so there's a tab here and a tab here on both sides and trying to keep it on the ball joint. That's the only tricky part here. And then making sure that this piece stays tabbed in. Getting back down around here, you are going to have to flip each one of these legs back around, or depending on how you had yours set up in the bot mode, which I might have to get that one flipped around too. And then get them to where they're just kind of like that. You're going to do that on both sides. Then you're going to kind of lower the legs. So they're on kind of like a lowering mechanism here to get them down on both sides. Lower the legs. And then it'll leave the front ones to work together. And it'll make a lot of sense. Now we've got legs to support the rear. And then these over here will support the front. And that works. It's kind of a nice sliding mechanism they have going on right there. And now we pretty much got her. We just need to play with the legs and get her set up however we want. Or however you want. Alright, now we have the spider lady in her spider mode, and it's very convincing spider. I don't want to mess with her. She doesn't look like she's in a very good mood at all. But with that, one other thing that makes it all come together is there's a tab right here. So this piece on the back, tabbing into the chest plate like so, gives it just really that one last little bit there will give it a ton of stability. And it's holding all this up with these legs. Of course, there's a lot of legs to hold it up. She's got 8 legs. And really, it's got all of the colors that came forward with the golds, the black, the purple, the reds look fantastic in this. And kind of cool that the gun is the tail. So that's interesting too. And you, of course, have all this articulation and stuff. You can get into making it look like she's walking and crawling over something if that's something that you want to do with this because of the articulation that she has. So it's really cool. Really good stuff there. And then, of course, she can be like consuming something, like she found some prey that she wants to consume. That's something that can be done too because of the way it's set up. So a lot of cool, interesting stuff. But let's see what we can do with these accessories. There's 2 things you can do with them. First of all, the handle's on a ball joint, which is it showing up? Is it show up? Handle on a ball joint, and you can move it around. So instead of it just being a handle, it's not exactly a ball joint. It's on a universal type of joint, and then it can plug into here if that's the thing you want it to do. And you can also do that, of course, in the bot mode, in the lady mode of Spider-Man. But also you can plug it into here and have it as something you want to do here. However you want to plug them in and however you want them to make them look. It's another thing that you can do, which adds more accents, more interestingness to this, and weapon storage. I think weapon storage is important, but yeah, there you go. You got to rotate the handle around sideways and get it going, but cool options because options are good. You can also make her really tall. That's another option if you want. She can be really tall, and they should support the weight just fine. Let me mess with that in real time. IRL, I made her tall. I really don't know what all I should compare it to. So it's just going to be some random weird comparisons. This is a vintage air razor, I think, that I got for literally nothing, like $1 or something. But I keep it around because I think it's kind of cool. And then I haven't transformed this back yet. You're going to see what all I haven't transformed back yet. But there's this guy. So this one is the Fans Toys. Here's another Fans Toys I still haven't gotten around to transforming back. I don't know why. It's probably going to take a while. That's why. But look how big that plane is. And then Cheetah. And it's Cheetor. There she's next to Cheetor. Who's cheating here? And just so you want a prime size to get the prime size of her, which that looks better if it's a little to the side. That's about how big she is. So hope that helps. All right, so this is my look at the Spider Girl, and she is a really interesting figure. Does look really good. There's a lot of options for her, a lot of accessories, so much that you can do with her. But overall, I like the color scheme of the paint. feels like a really quality figure. Wish it was more die-cast, but I'm okay with it. And all the joints feel tight. Really good looking figure overall. And with that, she can get into a lot of poses. Kind of whatever you want to do. Let your imagination go wild with this figure, if that's the thing you want to do. As you guys know, I'm way more modest with my posing. I don't go crazy like that all the time. But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. It shows you. I've got a link for it. It shows you. And like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.